Welcome to Warrior Nation Podcast. We're welcoming special guests Phil Sherr and Josh Chabbott, the pride of Magen David Yeshiva. These two guys are superstar student athletes. They are defending Yeshiva League champions for the Varsity Basketball team, and we're very, very happy and pleased to have them on with us on our first episode of this new podcast. Guys, welcome on.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So we're going to spend a lot of time on last year's magical run, the championship you went through, Flatbush at YU, and a lot of wins along the way. But before we get there, we're really going to start at the top. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about the beginning of your basketball career at Magen David Yeshiva?
Josh?
So me and Phil started to play together for Magen David in 6th grade on the team, and we so in 6th grade we started to play together, and we went all the way to the finals that year and we lost. And then in 7th grade we came back and we were just destroying teams, and then Corona hit, so then it really threw us off.
We were in the finals and then Corona canceled the game.
So
it was one game
Oh,
left.
right, because it was March, so that's when school stopped,
Yeah.
really.
There's two
and you
teams
guys
left.
had one game left,
Right.
and you never played that game.
Nope.
Wow.
8th grade, no season at all.
Do you remember who the 7th grade finals was against?
Us for
Flatbush.
Flatbush.
Who else? Wow.
They
that's
put up
crazy.
a half banner, a co-champion banner.
Really?
Yeah, we don't do that.
Right, that's not a real win. And then 8th grade,
It was
There's
Corona.
no season at
no
all.
season.
No season at all.
Unbelievable. So
9th
you guys got
grade.
to high school ready to go.
Yeah. 9th grade, we got to the finals, lost in the finals. 10th grade, semis, home versus Armaz, we lost. Upset. 11th grade last year, we just won.
And now you
And
guys
now
are
we're
looking
here.
forward to a 12th
Senior
grade
year.
season together. Wow, that's a lot of basketball.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, cool. So both of you, as we hear, are extremely strong students. How do you manage your time efficiently? How do you go about getting your studies done as well as getting your athletics done?
I think a key is you have to be organized at all times. You have to know what you have to do, how long each thing is going to take you. A practice is 2 hours. You have homework, you have a test. You just have to organize yourself and divide and conquer and make sure you do everything you have to do.
You also got to be able to, let's say there's some period, let's say you have a free period or you have lunch. Sometimes I would take advantage and do homework during then. I would just find different parts of the day to get some stuff done, so then later at night I would be able to get a good night's sleep. Or there's some nights where you have to stay up late to get your stuff done. So you got to be able to manage your time in a better way. But then when there's those nights where you have to stay up late, you just got to put your head down and just work,
Gotta grind.
basically.
Great advice for young students that are looking to be warriors and to get into it. And I think that managing your time is a very big, important aspect of this. Varsity basketball, huge commitment, a lot of time, a lot of hard work. When did practice begin for this season, and how frequently do you guys have practice?
I think it was the second day of school were tryouts, and then that's it. Once the team is picked, you go right into practice. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 4 out of 7 days of the week. 4 out of 6, really, because of Shabbat. So, yeah, it's pretty much every day.
And then on your off days, you got to be in the gym.
Gotta
So
be
it's
in the
really
gym.
6 out of 7 days of the week.
On the off days from practice, you guys are hitting the gym?
Yeah.
Josh is there till 1 a.m. every night.
Shooting. When you
I
say
don't know
gym,
what
you're
he's
talking
doing.
about shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
Not
talking
working out.
about working out.
Yeah.
Here and there, I lift.
Right.
Here and there.
Wow. And shooting for you is just a pure joy?
Yeah, it's what else am I doing? It's a school night. I'm not going out. I have my stuff done. And I just go to the gym, do a little workout, and I just go home and relax.
So is there any truth behind shooting in the dark?
Never heard of that.
Yeah, honestly, yes. He's talking about the SAR game. I turned off the lights. It was Sunday. I remember. I turned off all the lights. I put the dish up, and
What?
don't worry. Let me tell you. And then I was just shooting in the dark. And that was the game. I went 6 for 6. So there is some truth to it.
Last
Okay.
year?
Yeah, the SAR game. Remember the
What are
game?
you talking about?
The night before, I shut off all the lights.
Why in the dark?
Because you can't see. You can't see the basket.
How does that help you?
It's because you can't see it. And the game looks like getting blocked. That's why I hit the N1-3.
It worked?
I went 6 for 6.
Josh, you're crazy. I never heard of that before. That's like Kobe stuff.
That is Kobe stuff.
Bro,
Mamba mentality.
it's the weirdest thing I ever heard.
I mean, it works.
You turn the lights off? How do you even do that in the gym?
The key, you take it, you put it in the lights, you just flick it
Josh
off.
gets the key.
No, I lost
Come
the
up-
key.
where
I
do you
lost the
think
key. I
of
lost
that?
the key.
Where do you think of that? Where'd you come up with that?
No idea. It's just like thing I wanted to do.
You saw TikTok for
Definitely,
sure.
yeah, for sure.
Any interest outside of basketball?
I'm a big football guy. Oh, no one's, the coaches aren't going to like this. On Saturdays, me and the boys go to Friends Field, play at flag football. There's nothing better than that.
I've heard from people that you may be a better football player than basketball player. Phil, is that true?
Josh, you throw the ball Hail Mary wherever it is, as long as it's within like 5 feet of Josh, he's coming down with
I know,
it.
I play quarterback now.
You changed?
I changed. Oh, there's nothing better than getting the ball in their center, just running around in the pocket and just throwing a laser. It's like, if I never had basketball and, like, let's say I was just able to play football full time, that would have been something. That would have been, like, something I would be, like, really interested in.
So because of basketball, you can't focus on football.
No, because, like, there's no football leagues. One, you can't play tackle football, so it's, like, nothing to do. And, like, football's not, like, a big thing.
Right.
So it's, like, it's just, like, a thing you do on, like, Saturdays or, like, some, like on Thanksgiving, me and the boys, we go to Friends Field. But, like, also, basketball's, like, it's more, like, it's easier to practice, too.
Right. So football, what do you got?
I'm going to
School and basketball.
Yeah.
Anything, I heard Food Network.
No.
Any truth behind watching cooking shows?
No, not truth.
You kind of
Who
know
are
what,
you
you kind
lying
of see
to?
what I'm talking about.
Plead the fifth.
Okay,
In
fair.
Corona, timeout. I don't plead the fifth. In Corona, the classes were on Zoom, and you would see Josh in the camera watching like something here. He's watching like Gordon Ramsay during class.
I plead the fifth.
Okay, I don't want to push him too much on that. Let's move on to the next thing. Both of you are captains on the varsity team and have been since your junior year. What kind of responsibility does it bring you to be a captain? We sort of touched on it in the broadcast the other night on the JV game with Leo about what is he looking for in terms of naming a captain. But now I'm talking to the players. What are you guys doing as captains on the court? And were there any challenges as an 11th grader, as a captain, looking up to some of the upperclassmen and having to sometimes maybe tell them to do something differently?
I think it's more about being able to lead the guys than being a good player. Like, yeah, you have to be able to lead. You have to be able to bring the team together to go towards like a specific thing. Last year, me and Josh were in 11th grade playing on a team with all 12th graders. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. Like getting used to like talking to people, like talking to 12th graders as equal to you and trying to get them behind you, even though they're older than you. But like as the season progressed, like we got used to it and we realized like if we do this, if we lead them, if we all come together, it'll work. We'll be successful. So we needed it.
Right.
A big thing was that having Jack Haber, like every time I would do something that wasn't like a leadership quality, he would pull me over to the side and say like, there's a better way to approach things. Having him and Mark as like upperclassmen captains, it was really helpful for both of us because like we were able to learn from upperclassmen like how to lead and the better ways to lead, and that's what really got us to get the upperclassmen who weren't seniors going.
That's great to hear about Haber doing that, and I would assume that now being the upperclassmen and being seniors with a lot of juniors on the team, you guys are probably going to pass that on to the grade younger than you.
Try to take on the Haber role. Big shout out to Haber. Haber was the coach on the court, the glue guy.
Really?
Yeah, he was everything last year.
Feel better, Haber.
What's wrong with Haber?
Towards ACL.
Yeah, he's still down.
He's recovering.
Recovering.
He's recovering. He's in Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Shout out Israel.
Shout out Israel.
Shout out Israel.
What about long bus rides, practices, games? There must be a sort of camaraderie amongst the boys on the team, year in and year out, playing with the same guys, the coaching staff. Try to explain that a little bit.
So the bus rides, me personally on the bus rides, I like to sleep a lot. Like in the back, I hear all the guys screaming. Like last night when we played DRS, like I was like just trying to sleep before the game. Everyone was like, they were all like on top of each other, screaming. They were all like talking about the election and what was going on. Like there was like the bus rides, like those long hour and a half bus rides really build camaraderie between the guys. That's how we really build the friendship.
You could ask anyone I've ever played with. I put in 2 AirPods and I'm out.
Yeah.
I wake up when we get there. But sometimes
You're sleeping before the game?
Yeah.
Really? And then you're able to zone in when you get there?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
can't sit on a bus for an hour and do
Yeah,
nothing. Scroll on my phone. I'd rather sleep with music.
Right. And then on the way home,
The back of the bus is always everything. It's wild. back
Rowdy.
there. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're
it's like
sleeping in the
a-
front?
Yeah.
And the way home is different based on a win or a loss, I'm assuming?
Yes.
When you guys are cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we're in the back.
Right, I gotcha. The
Yeah.
rowdy is there.
Mhm.
Awesome, good stuff. What about home court advantage? You know, we play in the 5th floor gym in MDY. It's a great gym. It's big. It's spacious. Do you guys enjoy playing there? Do you have a preference on going on the road? Do you care for the crowd noise? Like, talk about that a little.
Personally, I like playing at Flatbush a lot. Like, I don't think I've ever had a bad game there. No disrespect.
Crazy.
I just don't think I ever had a bad game there. Even the year we lost to them, in like my freshman year, I still had a great game that game. I love playing there. Even to 10th grade, and they were calling me overrated and all that. It was my favorite thing in the whole world. Besides playing at Magan, that's my favorite game of the year.
Wow. They were chanting overrated to you
10th grade, I remember, on the free throw line. On the free throw line, I got there, overrated. Every free throw I hit, and I had 30 that game. Straight.
So that worked.
I think about our home court. Spike always says it. Like, if you're an opponent, you walk into that gym. It's one of the biggest gyms in the league. The blue, the yellow, the fans. It's like a 5-point advantage right there.
I agree.
We're all wearing the same uniform, the court, everything. Yeah, it's a big advantage for us.
It's funny because I always say that when you have maybe some of the lower level programs out there, they're walking into the
Right.
MDY gym. There's banners everywhere, the colors on the padding. Now you
Banners,
got the
for sure.
shout out 12-point print. Now you got the MDY Warriors printed on the boards. The shooting shirts, the consistency.
Everything, yeah.
Everyone's wearing the same shooting shirt
professional.
and the colors.
Professional.
It's professional,
Mm-hmm.
and it's definitely intimidating to these other teams that may not have that.
Yeah.
I agree. I never heard him say that about a 5-point lead, but it's true.
Yeah, he always says that.
All right, so now we're into this season. You had the preseason tournament at home last month. Started the regular season this week with a couple games. Cooper Invitational coming up in Memphis next month, or in a couple weeks actually.
week.
Next week?
Yeah.
You guys are going to Memphis next week.
November 13th.
What's the approach to this season following the league championship and so much success last year?
So we had a slow start so far. We lost the preseason tournament, and right now we're 0-1. We lost the DRS last night. But I think what's important about this year is you have to not overlook, but put the success of last year aside, and like this year you have to start fresh. You can't come off a high and then not take this year seriously or not focus on it enough. You need to put it aside, and this year is brand new. You got to win this year.
Our team is much different from last year too. Our team this year is a lot smaller, but we got more dogs this year. We're able on defense. Last night, we weren't scoring as much, but our defense, we were 100%, 110% on every single ball. So last year, when we relied on our offense more to win those games, this year our defense is going to bring us out of a lot of games this year. I really feel it.
All right, that's a great approach to the coming season, and I think that in the last year or so, you guys really built a fan base, and there's people that you would never have thought that are watching the game on live stream. They're coming when they can come, and there's a lot of people that really support this team. So good luck to you guys in the coming season. All right, let's talk about last year, which I know that a lot of people that are listening really want to hear the inside scoop on what last year was all about. We'll start off with the MDY preseason tournament. You guys made it to the finals, obviously, that last Sunday against Flatbush, 5th floor gym at home. What was that game like? It was a packed gym. I remember I was standing room only in the corner. It was before I was calling the games, and I was videoing it on my phone. Just unbelievable atmosphere. What was that game like? Or what was winning that game like, I should ask?
Josh.
Winning that game, first let's start off with, that game was a starter for, what that year was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was just going to be a Flatbush-Magan duel for the rest of the year from that game. That game was a dogfight. I remember I was diving on a loose ball. I had Kasky and Isaac Cooper dive on me, and I'm like, this game's going to be something. But when we won that game by 1 point, really, honestly, we should have won that game by 7. I remember I fouled Shia on a 3.
Yes.
I should have got a steal on. Haber threw a turnover. So, if I get that steal, really, that game's over. So once we won that game, it was a sigh of relief for me because, if they won that game because I fouled on a 3, I probably wouldn't have been alive the next day. Spike would have killed me. But, once we won that game, it was, a nice sigh of relief.
That was the Moses game?
No, this was preseason.
Preseason tournament. This is Haber. Haber won it on the foul line.
This is we won the preseason tournament. Now we can go into the season on a high, go into Memphis on a high. And, now the next time we play these guys, we know we can handle them. We know we can beat them.
What happened in Memphis? Following week or so, 2 weeks later, I think.
So that game, the night before that, Haber high ankle sprain, and we beat Valley Torah convincingly. Then the next day going into it,
Without Haber,
we beat them. Next day going into it, we started off slow, and then we were building our way back into it, and then some foul trouble came along. they went on a little run in the fourth quarter, and we weren't able to recover from it. And then without Haber, our glue guy, it was really like it was a big piece for us. Where how when we fall down a little, Haber's there to pick us back up. So without that, it was really tough on the court, and we ultimately ended up losing that game.
That was the Memphis finals.
Yes.
Against Flatbush.
Yeah.
Good. Now you come back from Memphis. You beat Flatbush in the preseason tournament. You lost to them in Memphis. Like you said, everyone's starting to see that the league is falling into place. It's
come
going
down
to be
to
a
those
David
two teams.
Flatbush
Yeah.
league for the rest of the time. From that point on, you guys went on an absolute tear. Aside from one game in December, it was pretty much nonstop winning for you. Is that right?
Yeah. Right after Memphis was Frisch, we lost that game. It was without Haber. It was like a week or two
No, we
after
played like
Memphis.
Hank
Played
YDE.
Waterbury before.
No, we played Waterbury, Hank YDE, and like we almost lost to Waterbury before we played
Yeah.
Frisch.
Really?
Waterbury was before.
And that's without
It was like a
Haber.
7-point game
Wow.
against a weaker team. And then Frisch was a couple days after that, and we lost to them by like 10 or something.
And that was a big
Without
loss.
Haber.
You guys probably they rang the bell on that one. You guys probably got nervous there.
We
Yeah.
lost them by 20. It was a bad one.
That was definitely a big wake-up call for us that year.
Remember the next day we went to Benny, invited all 4 captains to the house.
Yeah.
All of us were like complaining about every little thing, and then Benny he shut us all down. He's saying how like we have to. I remember that
Yeah.
Mark was screaming at him how he wasn't getting touched or whatever. He shut us all down. He's saying we have to lead better, and that we gotta watch more film. We gotta get the guys in the gym more. We just gotta build more camaraderie on the team because going into that game, we weren't like gelling as much. We didn't really know what our roles were. But then after that game, we were able to like develop roles of what was going on. And then that Saturday night we played Flatbush, and after that game we just went on a tear.
The Saturday night that was in Flatbush.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's fast forward from the Flatbush game in Flatbush to January 2nd. It's big night in Mag David against Flatbush, of course. Who else? And you start off with a big lead that night. Now, if I remember correctly, and I didn't go back in the tape to check, I think Haber got into foul trouble that game.
Haber was in foul trouble, and Mark dislocated his finger in the fourth. We were up big before those two.
You were up big before that. So
Up
Haber
19.
goes down. Now you're talking about Haber being the glue guy.
Right.
He comes out of the game.
Mark dislocates
broke
the
his
finger.
finger.
Our number
Things
one
start
scorer.
things start to fall apart.
Definitely fell apart.
It
They
went
were on
from
a huge
19 to
run.
12, 12 to 9, 9 to 3. All of a sudden,
All of a sudden they hit a three. I think it was Cooper shy and maybe hits a three on
They
the
cut
left
it to
side.
1. I passed to Jakey for a layup, and then Cooper hit a 3 tie game.
Right. Wow.
And then called
now
timeout.
you call timeout. You come out of the,
Mal called a timeout. Coming out of Cooper hit a 3, and Mal called a timeout.
Right away.
Right away, he called a timeout. And then they got in their press break. We broke it like the first time for the night. Mark had the ball, and he just gave it to Moses, and then Moses did his thing.
Was that the play call?
It wasn't a play call.
It wasn't a play
Moses
call.
came to set a pick, or Mark set a pick for Moses, one way or the other.
Moses had the ball with 4 seconds left.
Moses
It looked
had the
like
ball
he was
with
in
4
no man's
seconds.
land. He had
Yeah.
nothing to do there.
Step back on Chaya, I think. Hit it on House of Highlights on.
Yeah, so
yeah,
shout out
ESPN.
Kelvin. ESPN picked it
Yeah.
up the next day.
Yeah.
That was a ridiculous video.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if the editing goes right, we can play you that video right here for you and show you that on the
Yeah.
on
Everyone
the
was talking
Instagram.
about that shot.
What was school like the next day?
Like Rabbi saw the TikTok ESPN video of Moses' 3. It was crazy.
Everywhere we went, it was about that.
Yeah, it was a huge shot. He saved us. We blew the lead.
Yeah.
It was a big lead.
Yeah, I remember he came over to the scorer's table afterwards, and I had him on for a post-game interview, and I said, like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking when you shot that? And he said, I'm him. He dropped the headphones and walked away, and I said, that was sick.
That's Moses. That's Moses
such a
right there.
Moses
What a moment, though. It was
Yeah.
so real.
Yeah.
It was great. All right, now I want to hear about a little inside scoop, if you can, on Coach Ike Dweck. Spike, to everybody in the community, is a hero. I mean, there's nobody that you're going to find in the community that doesn't love Spike, that doesn't appreciate what he does for the rest of the community. What sets him apart in a coaching perspective from other coaches that you've had over the years?
So Spike is very tough on players, on me, on Josh, on everyone. But it's only because he knows he could get the most out of you. He knows how far he could push and what he could squeeze out of each and every player. And that's why he's always winning. His teams are always the best. Not necessarily because the players are so good. He knows how to squeeze like the most out of you and make it all work together and have success.
Also, with the guys who can't handle like a lot of criticism, he'll sometimes talk nicer to them. But then like the better guys, the guys who are like, I remember Asher was telling me about this, where Spike would be on him every single second because he knows that Asher can handle it. While some other guys, if he knows they can't handle it, he'll try and and get them into it in a different type of way. I know for me, I'm better when he starts to scream and get on me because that gets me going. I also know for Phil, where when Spike gets on him and where Spike's really pointing things out to him, that's when he really starts to lock in.
So it sounds like he knows where to push his buttons and how far to push.
Yeah.
Is there a compassion side that comes out?
Yeah, there is. Off the court, behind closed doors, he's a nice guy. He'll die with you, he'll make jokes, talk about girls, whatever.
Right. On
the court, he's tough, but really, he has a heart down there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, now you get through the playoffs, which you really didn't have such a tough time. You beat Hafter in the semis. Now, it was the writing on the wall. You get to the championship game in YU against who else but Flatbush. As a matter of fact, though, Flatbush was losing in their semifinal game, if I'm not
went into
They were down
overtime.
9, and then they made a comeback.
They came back. They won that game. Basically, the whole community is talking about Flatbush, David, Sunday, and YU. Hardest ticket to get in town.
Yeah.
What were you guys thinking about leading into that game?
The week before that game was the craziest week. Every single person you saw on the street in school was just talking about that game.
I remember me, Phil, and Alphonse were just walking the street on Saturday in East 4th. We had 5 people stop us. Oh, are you ready for the game? This and that. And then everyone walked there like, how long are we going to do this for? How long have everyone talked to us about this for? That's why we needed to get into that Sunday and just win.
Right. I was so nervous that week.
Yeah, it was a tough week.
And the community talking to you and
Everything.
talking about it really just elevated the
Every
nerves.
single person I saw was just talking about that game.
We couldn't lose
and
that
then
game.
the tickets thing, they released tickets and you had to like scramble to buy
Yeah.
it. You were stealing tickets from the schools. It was crazy.
Apparently, people would buy tickets, resell them for
Yeah, they were
$300.
reselling
I'm
tickets.
Was there really resale?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Unbelievable. Now, the game begins, all the hoopla, the
Yeah.
gym is packed, electric atmosphere. You could feel it everywhere. I was lucky enough to get tickets. And each team traded threes, which was an interesting way to start the game. You guys first play from set. Phil takes the ball to the basket, gets fouled, and one, finishes a three-point play. Now, in watching some of your games prior to that, that wasn't a typical play that we'd expect to see from you. What was going through your mind? Was that from Spike and the coaching staff, Benny and Mozart?
So it wasn't a play. We were trying to run something else, but I just saw an
Cats.
opening.
I think we were trying to run
Yeah,
cats.
we were running cats. I saw an opening. I spun to my right and I went up and I finished. But about that play, so 9th grade, we were in the finals versus North Shore, and I started the game off and I hit a 3, and then we lost that game. This game, I started the game off with a 3-point play.
Won.
I was thinking that in the game. I was thinking about the connection. I didn't think it was going to end well. Yeah.
Really? You thought that because the three-point play compared to the 3 that you lost, that would bring a loss?
I had no idea. I didn't know you were thinking that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's inside thinking. It's interesting that your brain is going there in the middle of that moment.
No, it really
the
did.
amount of people that were in that.
Because I'm not usually a scorer, and I hit a 3 in the first play of the North Shore game. Then I had a 3-point play right away in the beginning. Yeah.
Wow. Very cool. And then you've actually you followed it up in the second quarter, down 6 coming out of the timeout with the same type of play. It wasn't an end one, but you also got to the basket for a layup, which is pretty cool. Halftime. You're down 28-22, 6-point deficit. What's the message in the locker room?
No one's head was down, honestly. We were all into it. We were maybe like a little down because we were down. I remember Moses coming in. He was clapping. He's like, guys, we're still in this. Yeah. We played the worst half of our lives, and we're down 6. The coaches were not mad they were missing shots. They were more mad about like the defense and the rebounding.
And the fouling.
Yeah, we had
Everyone
big
had fouls.
Yeah, I had 2. Moses had 2.
Moses, Mark, I think Haber too.
Yes, you also had a lot of fouls.
I didn't have fouls. That's why I was in the whole time.
I didn't have foul trouble. I had 1 in the first half.
So
I remember
Moses,
and Moses also, he had some silly fouls. I think 2 of them were really soft fouls.
Mark ended up fouling out at the end.
Yeah.
But like they were mad about the fouls and the rebounding because we gave up, I think, 10 points based off offensive rebounds. And you don't give up, if you just give them one opportunity to score, that's how you're going to win the game. So it was just little things. I remember Spike was saying, the little things, if we get them perfectly, we're going to win.
Right. Now, you come out of halftime, and from a fan's perspective, we're thinking you guys are going to come surging out of the gate. Mag and David's side, we all went outside. We prayed Mincha Arbit. We had you guys in mind. We said that's going to really catapult you guys to a quick third quarter. But it wasn't the case. You're still down 7 with about 2 minutes left in the third. Mark goes backdoor for a basket, cuts it to 5. The Rat goes into motion at that point. Is that the first time in the game that the Rat was called?
No, it wasn't. I remember before we were down 7 and we ratted, and they broke it, but they threw a turnover. Then we missed They missed. Haber got it to Mark for a layup. When we ratted, I didn't know we were in it.
You were late.
I was not in my spot at all.
You were behind that
I was
court.
behind.
Yeah.
Spike was screaming at me. The second they passed it to Ricky, I'm like, it's either I'm getting a steal right now or I'm getting screamed at for fouling.
Right.
I jumped on him.
You fouled him.
I killed him. I jumped on him.
Again, hopefully we'll have the video up here to show you that you were
Foul.
literally
Straight
on the floor grabbing the ball out of his hands.
I jumped on him. Ronnie jumped on me. I pushed Ronnie off me. I'm like, not doing this right now. I got the ball. I'm like,
Gave it to
okay.
Haber.
I gave it to Mark.
Mark hit Haber,
Haber.
easy layup.
Layup.
3-point lead.
I was coming out of that pile with the ball. Like, there's no question.
Yeah.
I'd rather have gotten the foul and then maybe Spike doesn't scream at me than like not get the ball. They get a layup. They call timeout and Spike's killing me. So it's like I had to get the ball there.
Right.
Like the ball was like it was no option if I
Right.
don't get it.
So at that point, now it's a 3-point deficit. Momentum started to shift. In retrospect, how important was that play?
It was very big because then they are nervous. Their coach calls a timeout. Now they're prepping for the rat, and our coach, being as smart as they were, they called off the rat. So now but then like the next time
There
they
was a
called it off.
miscommunication there. They
really?
called it off one play,
And then they put it back on.
Benny or one of them said rat, one of them said didn't rat, don't rat, and they ended up scoring. 5% ended up scoring, and
Well, it was so loud in the gym. I
Yeah,
think
it
you had
was-
Emil had the signs also, right?
Yeah.
Emil and
I think
Leo,
Leo,
playing
yeah.
the sign game.
Yeah.
You then get to overtime, which we're sort of skipping over the fourth quarter. A lot of back and forth. Shout out to Mark. He hits the huge shot at the end of the fourth. Bad turnover.
Haber.
Bad turnover,
Yeah.
throwing the ball out from the inbounds, throwing it away to Flatbush. They call a timeout quickly. Not the best playing in the fourth quarter, not the best level. You get to overtime, you're up 1. What's going through your mind? You hit a humongous 3, Josh.
So the play before, I remember Haber gets a rebound, but me and Moses streak out. I'm wide open. I have a wide open lefty layup. Doesn't pass me the ball, pass it to Moses, and the Solid days with him, he hits it out of bounds. I'm going crazy. I'm wide open. You have been doing this all game. Phil comes over to me. He's like, relax. You're about to hit the biggest shot of your life.
I said,
Shout out to Phil.
I came to you. I was like, we're inbounding
get
under
it
the
to you,
basket.
yeah.
I was like, we're getting you a 3 on this play. You better hit it. You could see, I don't know if you'll pull the video up after. After he hits it,
I
he
was
points
pointing.
at
I went
me.
like this. Then
You pointed to Phil to give him his props. Like
Haber,
you were right.
Haber thought I was pointing to him.
You pointed at me.
For the last 4 months, I've told Haber I was pointing at Phil. Because Haber's on a pass to me. Then I remember the full play. We inbounded it. It went to Mark to Haber. I cut in. It was almost a turnover. They saved it, and then we have something called one more. We're like always trying to make the extra pass. This was 5 passes within in a split second. It went from Moses to Mark, Mark to Moses, Moses to Phil, Phil to Haber. Haber had a wide open 3, but he saw one of the defenders come to him. I'm like, so I know he's gonna pass this because it's Haber, so he's gonna make the extra pass. So I ran out to the 3-point line, and like my role last year was like
Shoot.
3 and D. That's what I was there for, to shoot the 3. And that game I was shooting okay, so I'm like, I gotta hit this. I got the shot. I'm like, I see Benny running at me. I'm like, do I pump fake this to go to the basket? I'm like, nah, just shoot it. Just straight shoot it.
And
place
Benny
it.
Cater running after you for a 3 is not an easy shot.
But like the worst case
blocking you out
situation
of
is
bounds.
blocking me out of bounds. Instead of me going to the basket, passing him wide open 3, nah, I had to shoot that 3. I shot it and it went in.
Right.
And I
Money.
pointed to Phil. Like
Money.
that.
By the way, just in rewatching the highlights, you were definitely fouled on the way up.
Yeah, at the end of the fourth.
End of the
Yeah.
fourth or overtime?
Fourth.
Oh, fourth. That's the one where, and then the next play you
didn't
hit
take a dribble,
Haber.
a step,
He was
anything.
short on the
It
turnaround.
was a bad pass to Haber.
I was so open on that, by the way. Were you
I had to
watching
look
that?
you up. Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying.
Do you guys rewatch the film?
That game I
That
watched
game, yeah.
like 10 times.
That game because it's on your phone on YouTube, but I'm talking about a regular game. You guys have it videoed. Are you rewatching every single game or
It
not
depends
every
on the
game?
game.
Sometimes.
Like,
But sometimes we'll watch with the team. in
With the team, that's what I'm
practice,
talking
or-
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They do
part
that.
of the practice motion. Final buzzer. What did it feel like? You guys come out victorious
That was
against
sick.
Flatbush NYU. The crowd just stormed center court with you. It was
Threw the ball up into the crowd, into the mosh pit, hit someone in the head probably.
that's okay.
I
Worth it.
started jumping on Phil. I remember that. I
Yeah.
started jumping on you. Then we
Yeah.
went into the mosh pit. Felt great.
Yeah.
You felt vindicated. All the
Best-
work that
it's
you
the
guys
best
have put
feeling,
in
yeah.
over the last 10 months or so. Just
10 months, 10 years.
right.
Yeah. It all led to that. It was the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tremendous. And what was that night like? You're just getting home and just celebrating with the
It was a
boys?
fun night.
Yeah.
There was a party somewhere. It was a fun night.
Awesome. All right. Then you didn't get a big break. 2 weeks later or so, you were back in YU for Sarachek.
Sarachek.
You guys lost in the finals of that one. Again, overtime or?
Overtime.
Overtime. Tough game.
It's tough to, after our goal, so these LA teams, they have their regular season, but it's against not all Yeshiva League teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really like our Yeshiva League's regular season. So they're really, like, the main point of their season is Sarachek. For us, it's the Yeshiva League.
Right.
So we won that finals game.
You were deflated almost. Like you wanted. You did what you had to do.
We won. We did what we had to do. It's
almost
tough
like
to
pull
come
out
in-
of Sarachek at that point.
Yeah, it's tough to come into Sarachek and have to grind out these games and do the same plays and beat these
Right.
teams. We got all the way to the finals to overtime, but they wanted it more than us for sure.
In
Right.
overtime, yeah, they got us in overtime.
Right.
We couldn't hit a shot. And, like, we were all tired. I felt it in my shot. They were, like, dead.
I was going to say, was there a certain fatigue of just basketball in general at that point?
Not even tired from the week, just tired from the.
Yeah. Not physically tired
Yeah.
from that game, just tired.
I wanted a
yeah.
month off.
Yeah.
I wanted a month off.
Did you get the month off?
No, I got 2 days off. It's fine.
You guys are right back at it.
Tryouts
after
for
that?
next year, yeah.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable. Let's wrap it up with what are your expectations for this upcoming season? You said you started off a little slow. You didn't win the preseason tournament, of course. 2 losses so far to DRS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Right now, we're like, so having the preseason tournament early was not good for us because we really, as a team, we weren't gelling.
By calendar, it was a month
Yeah.
earlier than last year's.
Yeah, last year was in
due to
October.
when the holidays.
Holidays, yeah.
Holidays were very late this year.
Right.
So having the preseason tournament early, it didn't give us a lot of time to figure out the best lineups and figure out what works for us. So that demoralizing loss at DRS in the beginning, it kind of set us back for the game we just played last night. We were all coming into like, what if we lose that type of game again? But we came out last night with with a lot of effort, and we were just missing easy shots. So really coming into this year, we're trying to win it all again. And I think we have the talent to do it. I think we have the right mindset to do it. But we got to do it one game at a time. We have 2 games coming up against Waterbury and North Shore. We're trying to win those games and knock them out of the park. Then we go to Memphis. And in Memphis this year, last year we were third. Now we're sixth.
Yeah.
Being sixth to us is like, that's like,
disrespect.
I looked at it as like disrespect. And I think the teams that we're going to play, like, let's say we win our first game and we play TBC. I think TBC is afraid of us. These higher ranked teams, they're afraid of us. They don't want to see Mag and David because they know that one fluke loss is not how we're represented. Because we had a fluke loss against Frisch last year, and then we ended up winning 20-something games out of it. The problem was that if, let's say, we played DRS a week after we lost to them the first time, it would have been different. Having that month off was tough for us. But then we saw that we were like, we're hanging with these guys, and this is after a month break. So we know we can hang with any team, and I honestly think we are the best team in the league again this year.
Yeah, the goal this year is back-to-back. Another banner.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think it would be the first team in history to go back-to-back.
Wow, really?
Or in like 50 years, something like that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, we're going to wrap it up. I really just want to thank you guys for coming on, giving us an inside look into how hard you work from an athletic perspective, how hard you work scholastically to really keep your grades up, and all that you do for MDY basketball and MDY sports, and for coming on tonight, because I know it's not so easy to give us that inside look, but I think that the listeners will appreciate it. So
Thank you for
Josh,
having
Phil,
us.
thank you very much, boys, and we'll see you on the next episode.